probably the most colorful horror game you've ever played. Hide from moaning disembodied eyeballs while facing existential dread, ambient music, and alternative medicine. Welcome to episode 13 of the 5 T's of Stealth, where we will be discussing Brighter Day. Once again, the 5 T's include tasks, terrain, tools, threats, and tension. These are what I consider to be the fundamentals of stealth gaming. In Brighter Day, there are 4 missions, all with the same simple objective: escape. This will be done in various ways for each level, as they are all set in different locations. You have to find the exit. In terms of story, there really isn't much to say. While you wander around the map, you can find computers that talk about not taking the pills and overall survival within the facility, but that's about it. Brighter Day is set at a treatment facility. The first level has you starting in your room inside said facility. There are multiple floors and a ton of scattered rooms, all with varying significance. Some will contain items, some can't even be entered, and others will contain secrets and lore. Then you will be outside of the facility. This is a very open map and even gives you access to the roof. You will also quickly realize that the treatment facility is very isolated. There's a patch of green for the facility, and then it drops off on all sides with a singular staircase that circles around it. It seems to be isolated within a canyon. As you begin to descend the steps, you will find an intricate system of tunnels underneath the facility. For such a short game, it really does a good job with level variety. Your tools within Brighter Day are very limited. Scattered throughout the facility are pill bottles. You can throw said pills to cause a distraction and lure your enemies. When you are underneath the facility, you will find a flashlight. Naturally, this will provide light, but more importantly, it can be used to blind and temporarily stun your enemies. General movement feels pretty damn solid. You have a sprint, a crouch, and are much quicker than your enemies. Aside from that, there are some basic environmental effects at your disposal. Open doors, press buttons, pick up boxes, and climb ladders. You only have one enemy type in Brighter Day, and it is arguably the most compelling part of the experience. Your only enemies are giant eyeballs. They will chase you once they see you, and the distance seems to be pretty far. There is no build-up for their detection. Once they see you, it's go time. Now, the other, and in my opinion the biggest threat, is simply figuring out what the hell you need to do and then plotting the course to do so. Once you know, it's extremely simple, but at first it can be pretty frustrating with how obtuse the whole experience can be. I felt pretty much no tension throughout this whole experience. Brighter Day is a stealth horror game, but it is neither scary nor stealthy. It feels much more like a game of tag than a compelling stealth experience. Where is the stealth? It feels like a stretch to call this a stealth game. The eyeballs are extremely easy to avoid, and while at first they may have an unsettling aura about them, it quickly fades as you wander around aimlessly. The eyeballs will constantly find you, but there's no penalty. All you have to do is run and you're fine. This is really only a stealth game in the sense that getting caught equals failure. There's basically no reason to worry about being detected, as again, there isn't any consequence. Just start running or duck in some random room to hide for a bit. Another big aspect of this game is this ambient music and how every action you take has a corresponding sound. This is pretty cool at first, but it's yet another thing that quickly gets old about this whole experience. You have no direction, and while there are scattered bits and pieces about the lore behind the game, the only real way to know anything, from what I can tell, is to gather all the tarot cards hidden throughout the game. There is a lot of optional exploration that can lead to more secrets and interesting areas, but as I was not enjoying my time, I did not bother doing so. I couldn't be bothered to run around any longer and look for cards, so I simply looked up the lore, and it's easily the greatest part of the whole experience. Let me reword that. Hidden lore that really has no impact on the gameplay is the best part of the game. I think that's pretty concerning. While it does dive deeper into the lore in the story, it didn't feel right to put it in the tasks section, as none of this information is known or relevant as you play. I will read it for you now, and in my opinion, this is all you need to know about this game. 100 years ago, a race of demons invaded our homes, telekinetically beheading our children and devouring their flesh before our eyes. We created a poison to sedate the demons and force them to rest under the earth. But they wouldn't take it willingly. To this day, we must trick the demons by feeding certain pills to people, waiting for the poison to develop inside them, and then dropping live sacrifices into a nest so the demons will ingest the poison. The best candidates for this sacrifice are hopeless children who believe they are incurably diseased and cannot coexist with society. I think that's pretty compelling, but I had no clue even after beating the game. All I knew was that I was some kid from a treatment facility who had avoided taking the pills. This hidden lore somewhat makes up for the whole experience, but again, as it's the best part of the game, I really cannot recommend Brighter Day.